The topic is the basic concepts in the deposition and pre-trial conference questions for chiropractic soft tissue spinal injury. So this is the order of the questions, basically how things should look and sound. Now the pre-trial conference is you should be meeting with the attorney prior to the case going to trial to review the order of which you want things to go, and specifically the topics you want to cover. That's the pre-trial conference, okay? Now, you want to establish the 6 categories to tell the story and win the case. Remember, to win a case, it's 6 categories. Combined with 2 categories to defend it. There's actually 4 categories to defend it, but it's really 2, okay? So the 6 categories is mechanism of injury, right? What does that cause? It creates financial liability. Mechanism of injury. This accident causes that injury. Number 2, signs, subjective findings, objective findings, diagnostic tests. So the subjective and objective findings as they relate to that injury. Number 3, what was the treatment protocol based on the biomarkers in the 3 phases of healing? Number 4, what was the patient's response to treatment? Number 5, how did they end up? Did they end up normal? Did they end up at MMI or with an impairment rating? If they ended up with MMI and impairment rating, which leads to number 6, what's the prognosis and the need for future care? That is the order to take whatever information you have and win the case. Now I'm going to tell you something. I've had people call me with very little information. We did this with Dr. Joe recently. But I had a client call me because they didn't know any documentation, anything, and now they're getting called into court to testify. So now I get a phone call. So they haven't been trained in personal injury. And what I did is I went through and I dissected the information they did have. And they typically don't have a lot. But if you take the information you do have and you follow this formula, the logical sequence of this formula, you will still, in all likelihood, win the case. The question will be how much. So it's not just, and I'll give you the juxtaposition. You can have great documentation and not follow this formula, and you stand a high chance on losing that case. Now the best scenario is to have good documentation with this formula, but I'm telling you, this formula is gold because it sequentially and logically tells the story to win the case, even with very limited documentation. So remember that. So, the 4 topics the insurance attorney will try to establish. There's really only 2. That's the pre-existing injury and the low-impact injury. Now we cover how to handle all these things. Those are the real 2 big ones. The other 2 that you will come across is they will try to minimize your credibility, and they will also try to minimize chiropractic's credibility. That will be part. Now if you have a good attorney, he's going to go for all 4. He's going to contest every one of these 6 categories, and he's going to go for all 4. That's what a good attorney will do. And he'll have his strategies how to attack all those, okay? Fortunately, there's not very many good attorneys. But most of them will, to some degree, fall in. You can almost be guaranteed they'll hit low-impact injury and pre-existing injury. You can almost be guaranteed that that's coming at you. So you better be ready for that. You better have your documentation ready for that. Any questions about that? So that's the big picture right there. That's what you're trying to accomplish. That's what you want to make sure you convey in the pre-trial conference. That's the way your narrative is going to go. That's the way your deposition is going to go. That's the way your trial is going to go. When you're testifying, that is the exact thing you want to happen in the testimony. You do not want this left up to the attorney. The only attorney that will get this right is the A attorney. And the A attorney will not be in court with you with a low impact injury. The C attorney who you work with and the B attorneys, they will not get this right. The C attorneys will definitely not get this right. The B attorneys will get parts of it right. They still will not have the exact formula. They still will not. They'll have good pieces of it, but they still will not. You have to educate them, and that's what happens in the pretrial conference.